Now we're going to look at a file that appears to be ready to send to the laser, but actually has a few things that need to be adjusted. So as I was trying to modify this file to print, there were a few problems I ran into, and I like to share those problems with you guys so that this way you don't run into them too. So first off is anything that might be hidden or turned off. If you have a layer's visibility set to invisible, so this little light bulb here would be blue instead of yellow, it's still going to get imported into Lightburn and it's going to potentially cause issues. So at the moment, I have this file here. I have it scaled. So again, if I click on a line here, we can see that this is just 1 foot and 3/32. So I have it scaled to the size I want. But if I save it as a DXF, so I come here to File, my little thing pops up on the other window, and then I save it as a DXF, I save my file, I come into Lightburn, File, Import, and I come to this file here that I know has issues, and I open it up. It did load in, but we can see here that it loaded in a bunch of line work too that was also kind of hidden. So as I was preparing this file and scaling it down, rather than completely deleting a lot of line work I didn't need anymore, I just went and turned those layers off, which I didn't think would be an issue. And then when I loaded it in, surprise, surprise, it is an issue. So I'm just going to Control Z to undo my import. And then in AutoCAD, what I need to make sure I'm doing is that any layer in my project needs to be visible. So no layers can be hidden. So that way I can go through and just delete them. I just have to take anything I don't want and just completely remove it. And again, that's just as easy as highlighting it and deleting it. Even your def point lines or your def point layers that are set not to plot is not going to that's not going to transfer over to Lightburn. It's not going to comprehend what that plot turned off is. So we just need to make sure that everything is deleted. One way that I can also double check that everything is deleted is if I do a zoom all. So if I do Z space A space, it's going to zoom in on everything in my drawing. Or if I double click the scroll wheel on my mouse, it's going to zoom in on everything that's in the actual file. So when I'm zoomed out like this, if I double click my scroll wheel, it zoomed me in purely on just my elevations here, which therefore to me is a signal that this is the only thing that's in my drawing file. So now, since I went and deleted all of those invisible lines, if I save my file again and I just do an override on that original DXF file, in theory, it should then only import just this line work. And maybe you're catching on that since I said in theory, it's not actually going to do that. So if I come back into Lightburn and I do another import, so File, Import, and I go into my laser hidden template here, when I open it up, it still is not really showing me my line work. It's clearly imported layers because these now have popped up, but like there are these blue and this peach one here. And so if I zoom out, we can see that yes, it did bring my line work in, but it also brought in my template from Paperspace. So everything that I had in Paperspace also got imported into here. So I'm going to, again, Control Z to just undo that here in Lightburn. And what you also need to make sure you've done in AutoCAD is that if you have any tabs here with a Paperspace kind of template of a title block and things, you're just going to need to right click and delete that Paperspace template. No matter what, there's always going to be a Paperspace template here called Layout 1. So you can see when I deleted my template, it just replaced it with this blank Layout 1. But now this is going to import in correctly. So if I do a save and I come into Lightburn, and I can also click on this button here to do an import, and I go to my laser hidden template. Now it's brought it in and it's just my line work. And another way that I know for a fact that it's done that is it's centered it onto, or kind of centered it at least, onto the actual work bed of the machine. So one thing also to just keep in mind with that Paperspace is that if you are working from a completely blank ACAD DWT template file, then you won't have that Paperspace issue to deal with. The reason why that was there is because I took this originally from a different template file that had that Paperspace title block.